And our first guest of the day, Jonathan Tavernari, now joins us in studio. JT, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How was Vegas?
It was great. Yeah, lot of work, but it was fun. We did 12 games and 5 shows, and
awesome.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah,
that's great.
You went to Bishop Gorman, so you have that
Big
Vegas
time.
connection. Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Love
awesome.
it. Every time I got a chance, I go back there. In the summertime, I usually take one of my Tavernari elite groups there. So I love Vegas. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, if BYU was in Vegas, I would be in heaven. But that's kind of a clash of
culture.
Clash of cultures.
Yeah, it is a clash of not only cultures but of a lot of things. But it's
Okay, lots to discuss with BYU, but what feels like is the most pressing topic right now is kind of coronavirus,
right,
and how it's affecting sports now. It is a sports story in its impact as well now, and so now we're talking about it. Have you ever encountered a situation like this where you played in an empty gym or anything like that, which we might see next week in the NCAA tournament?
Yes, but not due to a virus, due to fights and suspension and clubs and fines and that type of stuff. It's not uncommon to see in Europe, in that type of situation. But it's a real thing. It baffles me that a lot of people that I follow on my timeline here in America, you're getting this thing about, oh, it's not a big deal. The virus, the flu kills more and this and that. In Italy, where I've been lived for the last 10 years, this is a nightmare. About 4 people actually in the entire first division have been diagnosed with coronavirus. They're now thinking about canceling the entire season, and at all levels. EuroLeague games are being played in empty gyms in remote locations, and so it's a serious thing and something that people need to take it really seriously. And it's going to affect a lot of people. And again, just in Spokane, the reason that they changed about no more than 250 people now can be together in Washington. I don't know if you see that, but
Seattle's been affected greatly.
Right? Seattle has been affected, and which is one of the places that BYU might play. And if you really think about it, 250 people, that's both teams, the media, and the staff, and that's about it, right? And so
we'll see if families, if the NCAA
not
limits,
even
will families even be let in? And will media be able to go?
And to be fair,
I
mean, I feel like God has a hand on everything, right? But if my family was right now in Italy, if we were there, I don't know how I would be handling this with my wife and my son, because I don't know how they would. Hey, I got to go to practice, but you're not going to go to games. I mean, it's something that you really need to think. I mean, for the 10 years that I was there, nothing like this happened. And, I feel like as soon as I leave, things just collapse.
We haven't seen anything like this in our lifetime.
In our lifetime, right?
We haven't seen anything like this. And we were discussing this. The NCAA, like a lot of other leagues, right now still evaluating everything, have not made any official decisions, but we certainly expect something to come out in the next couple of days. Jeremy and I talked about this and gave our opinions. Would you be surprised if the NCAA comes out with some significant changes for the tournament?
I don't think so. I mean, if you're looking at the NBA, and the NBA is considering shutting everything down, it wouldn't surprise me if the NCAA just say, hey, we're going to have games played, but without fans. Or I'm going to go as far to say as, we're going to cancel things. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, our own church, the LDS Church has just came out with a release saying that there will be no attending conference. It will be technology only. I mean, again, you've never seen this in our lifetime. When I was little, we experienced a little bit in Brazil with, the dictator years, but this is unprecedented and something that again, it's all over the news and, almost trumps everything out that we're talking about.
So again, the NCAA has not made a decision regarding the coronavirus and the impact on crowds per se. We will find out, and they got to do it before the bracket's released.
Oh,
right?
I think
it has to be before that.
Selection Sunday, it's coming up. I mean, today is Wednesday, just a couple of days, and so it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen.
Okay, let's talk about the Cougars' resume. Still really good. Basically, they didn't really fall just in KPI, which has been not high on the Cougars all season, but Cougars kind of just held the ground after a 1-point neutral loss to St. Mary's. We're all disappointed in it, but in terms of what it really meant to the resume, it hasn't affected BYU negatively. How do you see it?
Well, I agree with you. I don't think that the loss to St. Mary's per se was a bad loss. They are a tournament team by all metrics. I personally think that, and kind of going off of Joe Lunardi even said that, I think it's yesterday or the day before, they were kind of over there, 98% in St. Mary's, but I feel like the win over BYU solidified them as a tournament team. That means the WCC is going to have 3 teams there. So, again,
the women got in 2, by the way.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I feel like it's something that it helped. I won't say helps BYU, but it wasn't a bad loss. The way the game went, it just left you with a taste in your mouth that it could have been more. But again, BYU, by all metrics and all things, is a lock to the NCAA tournament, which brings me to my question to you guys. Should I shave my head completely, or should I
still doing this?
Or should I dye blonde? What should I do? Should I go Travis Hansen?
What do you want? Well, Trav looks good. He's a good looking dude.
Oh boy.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, my wife did say it correctly. She gets 51% of the vote, but
But see, you've had your head shaved before. It's not like,
and it's kind of buzz right now.
Yes, it's
like
buzz now.
we've seen that before.
Yes, so I don't. It's a look you've already had. You've
go blonde.
I'm thinking if that's between the two, if it's going to be one of the two, I would say that.
Right.
Listen, Trav had a unique deal going. He was Elder 8 Mile at the time.
Oh, big time.
It was.
He still kind of is.
Awesome. He's kind of cooled down. He used to be a little more feisty.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Oh, I know.
He's like pretty chill right now.
Oh yeah. Hey, Trav is my guy. So
we all love Trav. He's fantastic.
Yeah, but are you shaving your head? Are you still in? No. Are you shaving your head if they go to the Sweet 16?
He's had braces for 2 years. He's paid his dues here.
Oh
wow!
I totally forgot about that. That's how.
We were looking at a video that over there. Oh yeah, Jason had braces.
I did have braces on the air for 2 years.
Yeah.
Wow, I totally
and
forgot.
you lost a bet. That's what's crazy. You didn't even need them.
I just did it because I lost a bet. Yeah. I'm at this point. I'm like the NCAA. I'm still evaluating.
Oh.
I've not made any decisions yet.
Are you a corrupt organization?
No, I am not. I am not.
You're going to suspend Yoli 9?
No, I'm non-committal on shaving my head.
Let's hope the NCAA's decision-making is better than the one with Yoli regarding the situation.
Okay, so here, I want to ask you this, though, because this is our question of the day. Do you still expect BYU to win at least one game in the NCAA tournament?
One game, yes. And here's the thing. People talked about, and I had a huge argument. That's why I tried to call you yesterday. I was having a huge argument with people on Twitter. They're like, "Well, there's so many reasons why they lost."
An argument on Twitter? What?
Me, right?
That's right. You did FaceTime me. We were on the road.
Yeah, I know. Ben texted me, but the thing is that there are a lot of reasons why BYU lost, right? But for me, the main two were the fact that they didn't play for 9 days, and the fact that they let St. Mary's dictate the pace. I mean, it was a super sluggish game. It was not a pretty basketball game.
It was perfectly played for St. Mary's.
Perfect. And the fact that when BYU played at their rhythm, they were up 11, right? And that's what happened. And so, but for me, the key is, will this coaching staff and these players have learned the lesson from having 9 days in between the highest of the highs to play the very next game, and now the lowest of the lows to play the next game? Because in between the win against Gonzaga and the very first game against St. Mary's on Monday, there were about 8-9 days that went by.
Yes.
And now between Monday,
2 and 19 days,
and then between Monday and next Thursday, there would be another 8-9 days. Mm-hmm. And so it will be the key. Have they learned their lesson? In Europe, a lot of times during the season, during these breaks, we would play a friendly game, just an exhibition, just a scrimmage against a different team, a lower division team, a higher division team, just something like that, for us to be able to have that kind of momentum, for us not to lose. Because there's a difference between you just kind of beating up on your teammate and then you have to go and play a game, and you kind of ganging up on somebody to kind of get your juices going. And so I think it will be a factor. And I do feel like BYU will win a game because they'll get a good seed. I mean, let's be realistic. Now we're looking at about a 5-6 seed.
5 or 6.
And maybe because of matchups and what happens in the other conferences, maybe a 7 worst case scenario. But I think a 5, 6, and 7 in that range, BYU will get it. So they will have a really good matchup, a really good chance to win the first round game. That second round game is going to be a battle. But again, I think all will depend on how they adjust. Because this 9-day period, for me, I love Kobe Lee. I love Dalton. I think that
Kobe Lee will get healthy. But we'll see if we get Dalton.
But the thing is, we don't know. We know how good these guys are and how much they've impacted the program. But their absence, to me, was a secondary factor, a smaller factor compared to the 9-day break that they had. And so for me, that would be the key this week and going to the next few days in about a week or so before they play the next very game in the NCAA tournament.
Okay, let's finish with this. Are you more concerned about the numerical seed and what comes with that, or the matchup, the team that BYU plays?
I think the matchup. And the reason why I say that is because my 4 years at BYU, we were the 9th seed, the 8th seed, and the 7th seed a couple of times, right? And we felt like those games were evenly matched, right? And so a lot of people forget that, the 8 and 9 seed, it's such a good quality matchup. No, I mean, at this point in time, guys, at the end of the season in March, everybody's in rhythm. Everybody's a good team. They are scouting reports for about dozens of games, and so you have everything figured out. And so I think that, like you said, the matchup, who they play against, is way more important what seed they get.
And the matchup is dictated by the seed a little bit, which is fun as well. So we'll see what seed BYU gets. We'll see who they play. We're going to know Sunday, baby. We're going to know Sunday.
If you go blonde on top, how about we go blonde on the beard too? You go both.
I don't know about that, bro.
Now we're talking.
Hold on.
Once you get a little nervous, that's the line.
I got to check. I don't know if I can do all of that. Hold on. Take one thing at a time.
You can't be comfortable with it. That's what I've learned.
Oh, really?
If you're uncomfortable, now there are stakes.
A blonde beard. That may be a good look.
That was a guy, I don't remember his name, that he used to play for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'll find his name and I'll tweet it you later. He used to play, then he went to play in Italy during the lockout. And as a Brian something, and he had a brother had a fade or whatever, and he had a blonde stash. He had a beard like me, but then he had a longer stash that was completely blonde. And I'm like, it takes style. It takes style and courage. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, but
just something to think about.
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
Yeah. Okay, well, good stuff. Sorry, I'll try and answer your FaceTime next time. I just had 3 other people in the car. Didn't want to be rude.
There's priorities. There's everybody else, and then there's me at the bottom of the list.
That's not true. You're near the top.
I guarantee.
FaceTime me right now.
I guarantee if Bill Riley calls you, you answer before I do. So.
Why would I answer from Bill Riley?
I'm just saying.
To talk about Utah? I don't want to talk about Utah.
But yeah. Anyway.
Come on, man.
All right, JT. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Coming